some astonishing things during these 5 years, from a fight between a whale and 2 thrashers conducted outside the reef, lasting an hour and dyeing the breaking waves with blood, to the poisoning of the fish in the lagoon by fresh water due to an extraordinarily heavy rainy season. He knew the woods of the back of the island by heart, and the forms of life that inhabited them: butterflies and moths and birds, lizards and insects of strange shape, extraordinary orchids, some filthy looking, the very image of corruption, some beautiful, and all strange. He found melons and guavas and breadfruit, the red apple of Tahiti and the great Brazilian plum, taro in plenty, and a dozen other good things, but there were no bananas. This made him unhappy at times, for he was human. Although Emmeline had asked Koko for Dick's whereabouts, it was only a remark made by way of making conversation, for she could hear him in the little cane brake which lay close by amidst the trees. In a few minutes he appeared, dragging after him 2 canes which he had just cut, and wiping the perspiration off his brow with his naked arm. He had an old pair of trousers on, part of the truck salved long ago from the Shenandoah. Nothing else, and he was well worth looking at and considering, both from a physical and a psychological point of view. Auburn-haired and tall, looking more like 17 than 16, with a restless and daring expression, half a child, half a man, half a civilized being, half a savage, he had progressed and retrograded during the 5 years of savage life. He sat down beside Emmeline, flung the canes beside him, tried the edge of the old butcher's knife with which he had cut them, then, taking one of the canes across his knee, he began whittling at it. "What are you making?" asked Emmeline, releasing the bird, which flew into one of the branches of the artu and rested there, a blue point amidst the dark green. "Fish spear," replied Dick. Without being taciturn, he rarely wasted words. Life was all business for him. He would talk to Emmeline, but always in short sentences, and he had developed a habit of talking to inanimate things, to the fish spear he was carving, or the bowl he was fashioning from a cocoa-nut. As for Emmeline, even as a child she had never been talkative. There was something mysterious in her personality, something secretive. Her mind seemed half submerged in twilight. Though she spoke little, and though the subject of their conversations was almost entirely material and relative to their everyday needs, her mind would wander into abstract fields and the land of chimerae and dreams. What she found there no one knew, least of all perhaps herself. As for Dick, he would sometimes talk and mutter to himself, as if in a reverie, but if you caught the words, you would find they referred to no abstraction, but to some trifle he had on hand. He seemed entirely bound up in the moment, and to have forgotten the past as completely as though it had never been. Yet he had his contemplative moods. He would lie with his face over a rick pool by the hour, watching the strange forms of life to be seen there, or sit in the woods, motionless as a stone, watching the birds and the swift-slipping lizards. The birds came so close that he could easily have knocked them over, but he never hurt one or interfered in any way with the wild life of the woods. The island, the lagoon, and the reef were for him the 3 volumes of a great picture book, as they were for Emmeline, though in a different manner. The colour and beauty of it all fed some mysterious want in her soul. Her life was a long reverie, a beautiful vision, troubled with shadows. Across all the blue and coloured spaces that meant months and years, she could still see, as in a glass dimly, the Northumberland